What's happening, everybody? I'm back as media resident supervillain Mr. J. Washington, and I'm here with my review for Beetlejuice. Now, if you have not seen this movie yet, come on back because there will be spoilers. It's been a minute since I've done one of these. I've been meaning to do so many different reviews. I know I need to do Deadpool and Wolverine and et cetera, et cetera. But let me first and foremost say thank you to everyone from the bottom of my heart. Whether you loved it, hated it, didn't like it, you liked it a bit, you watched it multiple times, you just played it in the background. Thank you to everybody who has checked out Big Black and Nerdy. Thank you guys for helping me hit over 20,000 views within 2 weeks. To have it be independently thrown up, independently produced, thrown up, but like put on distributors. You know what I mean? It means the world to me. I've always said openly that I'm just doing whatever I can to get this industry to take notice of me and to show that I can make them money. That I am a commodity. You know, I'm not just a one-trick pony, and that I can, you know, people can come out and see me. And so to each and every one of you, from the bottom of my heart, let me say thank you. I appreciate you. I am grateful for you. Like I said, I'm even grateful for those who didn't like it. That's fine. You know, thank you for your engagement to let me know. That is what matters the most. This machine works on numbers. And so the like, love, everything, the numbers are what matters. And so I thank you. I'm appreciative and I'm grateful. Let's get to it. I, like many other people, have been waiting for this movie for 30 years. You know, you love Beetlejuice. You saw Michael Keaton. His career ascended to so many great things. Winona Ryder has done so much. Catherine O'Hara is just a phenom. You now get the addition of Jenna Ortega, Justin Theroux, and you wonder what's going to happen. I'm indifferent about this movie in a sense. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. There are a lot of plot holes. There are a lot of things that are just overly done. I'm a big fan of it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I know we're going to say, well, Jay, it's 3 decades later. You know, you can evolve some things, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm fine with that. That's cool. But there's just so much. Look, Jeffrey Jones, if you did know, the dude who played Charles Dietz, he got popped off on some Jared from Subway type deal. And so we knew he wasn't going to be in the film. They were going to kill him off. But this recurring gag of his body being in the underworld and, you know, you having Delia trying to connect with him and just constantly seeing the body go around every other chance. It's like, all right, we get it. But there's no need to. Let it be. Danny DeVito's character, as the cameo, shall I say, as the janitor in the beginning, where Dolores gets out, it was cool seeing Danny DeVito in that. Don't get me wrong. It's one of those roles that could have been anybody else. Those are those little cameo roles that, for me personally, as an actor, and I'm just going to keep it a buck, those could go to the actors that are trying to work, that are struggling out here. Because I don't know if you all pay attention to this entertainment as a whole. It is very, very tough now for actors who are not A or B tier actors or the controversial Nepo babies. It's very difficult. So that little small role could have gone to some actor who needed it. And I'm not saying Danny DeVito don't need it. More than likely he doesn't. But, you know, again, good to see him. Role could have went to anybody. I digress. Monica Bellucci is Dolores, a.k.a. Beetlejuice's ex-wife. That storyline, I don't know about a lot of y'all. I felt like it was unnecessary. Her just wanting Beetlejuice to kill or marry him is weird. And I'm like, all right, I guess. The Bobs, the shrunken head thing, I should have known we were going to have a bunch of them. It's cool to see it was a cute little cameo. Here's where shit got really wild. So shouts out to Jenna Ortega's Astrid. She is Lydia's daughter. Her dad died from something in Brazil, some piranhas, and you see his body in the afterlife. They broke all of their own rules, right? So the rules being that if once you die, you cannot leave the home in which you were in. Well, Astrid, Jenna Ortega's character, meets a boy in a treehouse, and he's outside. So you're like, okay, everything's cool with him. So you find out later, shorty a ghost. Again, I told you, spoiler alert. And he's like, oh, I can only go between here and there. And it's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't. Then you find out the reason why he's a ghost is because he was killed after he killed his parents. His parents in the house. It's just it didn't. It was too many plot holes in that. Here's another thing, and I'm gonna bring this up, and some people are gonna push back against it. I already know. I don't give a shit. There's always been open discussion about black people in Tim Burton movies. They are rare, if ever. Okay? You know, you had Michael Clark Duncan as a giant black gorilla in Planet of the Apes. You had the black dude who was the police officer in Edward Scissorhands. I can't think of too many black people in the first Beetlejuice. And the only time you see black people in Beetlejuice is at the Soul Train. Yeah, there is a train to take your soul on to the afterlife when you pass on, which what they tell us that's what happened to Barbara and Adam Maitland, played by Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin's character. I digress. The Soul Train, which every black person is dressed like the 70s. Dancing disco for the Soul Train. It is unnecessary. That is unnecessary. And again, there may be somebody who's going to go back to what I just stated earlier. Well, Jay, you just said, what about actors needing jobs? Okay, don't do that. Because this is unnecessary. This is rather demeaning in this situation. The only time you use black people is to make a mockery of them. And the story of rule violations and how they apply, from the underworld that get Beetlejuice, are different things. I like the fact that when Lydia shows her fiance, I can't remember his name, Justin Theroux's character's name, when she shows him the model of the town, and she tells him about what's going on, she lets him know because she sees a flyer that's advertising Beetlejuice. And so she says, she's like, don't say his name 3 times because he'll appear. And one thing I will admit, I liked, instead of doing the whole setup where it goes, so if I say Beetlejuice, you mean don't say Beetlejuice? But what could happen? That long drawn out thing that typically films will do in a situation like that. So I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad he just was like, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. And they just went in. They got that out the way. But here's the rules. Again, is it only his name can be spoken by the living that changes things? Because his name is spoken a lot in the afterworld. All Lydia, Astrid, Delia, they're all trying to keep from saying his name multiple times. It's just so much. It's just so much that happens that just like it doesn't flow like I think it should. This could have been so much better. Like I said, I don't hate it. I like seeing the Sandworms. I like seeing the Bobs. I like seeing way more Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice in this one than you do in the first one. Because in the first one, if you actually do a breakdown, Beetlejuice is only in the movie for 37 minutes. And so he is a very, very, that's one thing that Tim Burton made sure of. He is a very, very prominent character within this film almost from the beginning. So you don't wait to start seeing him. I don't think we need a trio. I don't think we need another one. I think this is good. I mean, Tim Burton and Michael Keaton have said already they won't do it. I don't think anybody needs to pick up the mantle. I don't think this needs to be rebooted because if this was the sequel, I'm afraid of a reboot. I'm terrified of a reboot. I don't think it needs to happen. There was so many, like I said, so many plot holes. Like, I would have loved, there's a flashback as to how Beetlejuice and his ex-wife met, and she was crazy, and she wanted some witch or some cult thing, if I'm not mistaken. And he was doing his little things. But I wanted to know, if you're going to give me a flashback of anything, so we know he worked for Juno, as if we found that out in the first one. Tell me how he fully came to be the dude he is in the afterlife. I think that was something we all wanted to know. Now, sometimes some movies go on, and I think this movie was 10 minutes too long. But I know you're going to be like, well, Jay, if it's 10 minutes too long already to you now, don't you think adding on his backstory would have added more time? No, I think you could have taken stuff out, like the fucking Soul Train. The whole dancing montage. Kid took that out. Like I said, Jenna Ortega's a star, and as a whole, she's a star. And you can tell that she's allowed to be who she is, as she is as Wednesday in every other role, because it's Tim Burton. there wasn't a lot of major things I got from Jenna Ortega in this. That's just me personally. Again, as always, all these reviews is me personally. But I think one thing I can say personally, and a lot of people, and almost every last one of us should agree on, Catherine O'Hara was locked in. She was having all the fun. She made this look. This woman is a star. Like I said, I think I got introduced to her either it was Beetlejuice or Home Alone. But ever since then, whatever film I've seen her in, she is impeccable. She is a masterclass in acting, and especially comedic acting. And flowers need to be given to this woman repeatedly. She does so much, and then she just goes through everything. There's a scene where, again, Delia now has this art. She's now famous, right, from her art. And now there's a big story also about the ghost in the home that the Maitlands used to have that they shared with the Deets and all this. When Charles died, if you're going to put a black shroud over the house, what? But the level of wildness that Catherine O'Hara brings, it is amazing to me. It is fucking amazing to me. Yeah, I just don't, I'm trying not to, I don't want to be too negative to this, but I don't want to be too positive at the same time. I'm just being honest. Now, I know a lot of people have said, if you notice, the buzz for the film has died down too. I'm doing this on September 12th. The movie debuted on the 6th. Now, it made money out the gate its opening weekend, of course. And there are diehard Beetlejuice fans. But you're not hearing the rave reviews behind it. You're not hearing the clamor of going to see it repeatedly. Yeah, it'll probably be the #1 movie. I think it is. But I think that's telling when I don't care what film it is, no matter how high it comes out the gate, if you ain't hearing nothing from the following weeks, then that should tell you something. But again, let me make sure I say thank you to Tim Burton and Michael Keaton for giving us this, because they did, and Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara, because they did not have to come back for this. They all have their own careers that are going and doing their own things. They did not need to come back for this. Dolores, I gotta go back to her real quick. Monica Bellucci, who is now Tim Burton's girlfriend, which Tim Burton, if you dating him and you're an actress, you in the shit, which ain't nothing wrong with that. I've talked about that before with James Gunn and his wife. She plays Harcourt in Peacemaker and Suicide Squad. And she was in Guardians of the Galaxy. Look, if I can keep the checks coming home, cool. But I also feel like if you're going to put that role in, make sure that role has some substance. And Harcourt has substance in Peacemaker. Harcourt, you know, she was a nice pop-up to see in she was an interesting pop-up to see in Black Adam and in Guardians. But keep that money going. Keep that money going. Look, I know it kind of somewhat contradicts what I said. Yo, that world could have went to anybody else. I do understand that. But let me make sure I clarify this to tell y'all. Let me make sure I keep telling y'all this. You got to take care of home first. Random celebrities throwing in cameos is one thing. Your wife, your husband in this shit is a complete other. So make sure we clarify that, all right? Listen, I don't want to ramble on too much longer. I want to know what your thoughts were about this movie in the comments down below. Y'all already know the drill. If you're new here, it's because it's a bunch of new subscribers, by the way. Thank you. Like, subscribe, click on the notification bell. I'm going to drop so much more stuff for y'all over the next couple of days. We back to the channel heavy. So please do that. If you want to send love, you want to send super thanks, those are definitely welcome. Those are definitely appreciated. And please make sure you check, while you're here on the channel, check out Big Black and Nerdy on my channel. Big Black and Nerdy. It's 48 minutes or so. If you don't want to sit and watch it directly, yo, put it on the background. Just listen. If you watch it already, put it on the background. Let it run. Boom. Let's run these numbers up. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. Check out the Nancast, the podcast about everything and absolutely nothing with myself, Chris Burns, and Pap Johnson. Blurs in the Hood. We're working on coming back. We just did a special State of the Union again last night, so it's up on the Blurs in the Hood YouTube channel. That's coming back. And the Man Titan podcast will be back very, very soon. All right? Holla at y'all next time. Till then, take care. Bye.